can we go through maybe some of the reasons why work environments are not contributing to strong mental health today, and perhaps what can be done to improve it? Let's start with Jackie on this one, please.
I think within the workplace, one of the first fundamental parts for me is that people have to feel psychologically safe within the workplace. If people feel psychologically safe, then they're more likely to reach out and ask for help because they feel safe and secure. However, a lot of businesses, a lot of organisations, it's not always psychologically safe to do so. I've worked in environments like that where in the management side of things, it hasn't been safe to speak out and ask for help or to show that you're vulnerable. And I think that's a barrier that, and especially, within leaders or for anybody within the workplace, I think that is a barrier that I have to be seen to be strong. I must be okay. I can't show I'm vulnerable. What's going to happen if I'm vulnerable? Am I going to lose my job? Are they going to get rid of me? All those questions will start to arise. And then again, it's important within the workplace, as Dave talks about, is having those everyday conversations about mental health. So it becomes the norm and not, that's a weird question to ask. Why are they suddenly asking me that? It's really important. And I think, within workplaces now, mental health is becoming much more prevalent. People are talking about it more. There's mental health first aid trainers within the workplace. It's part of strategies. Well, business strategies, but I don't think it's enough. I think more can be done and more needs to be done.
Where I was in financial services, I came across one example where a gentleman who was a team leader, he tried to, he overheard a conversation that was heavily racist against a number of colleagues, and he reported that to his line manager, who asked him to put it in writing. And when he did, that email was shared around the team of people that he was reporting. So just to give people an example of where psychological safety can break down, you are being asked to report situations of misconduct, and you're then exposed for doing so. That ultimately made his position and his career untenable. A really sad story of how we punish people who are trying to promote a good culture, and ultimately leading themselves to come up against severe mental health trauma.
And I talked earlier on Ian, about distress. The brain goes into distress, and if somebody's at that point of suicidal thoughts or intention, then their brain goes into fight, flight and freeze mode, and the front brain, part of our brain, which is our thinking brain, goes offline. So if you're not feeling safe, already the back part of your brain has become activated because I'm frightened, I'm scared. And then if you've also got the distress, that internal distress that needs soothing and working with and understood and listened to and validated, then, your brain isn't going to be able to function effectively and make those decisions. That's going to keep you safe. So there's a lot of...
It's so interesting what you said there about the frontal lobe and the back part of the brain, because so much of our behavior is instinct, isn't it? Is, wake up and have breakfast. Is that a choice, or have we just decided to do that because we're hungry and we're following our instincts? And I think what you're saying is once you shut down that part of the brain that does the free will and the thinking bit, you really are just a shadow of yourself in terms of being able to generate returns and productivity for your firm.
Absolutely. And I think, it's very important to be aware of that. If you're working with somebody or that somebody's at risk or in a very, very low mood, it's really important to try and get the front brain back online. And even just having a conversation helps to get that brain back online. I could ask you something absolutely randomly, Ian, and say, what's 2 and 2, Ian? And it actually has nothing to do with the conversation we're having. But just something as simple as that can get the brain back online. And then you can start to work with somebody. You've got them out of the back brain and the front brain's back online.
I wish it was that easy for me. I need at least half before I can get that brain going. Thank you, Jackie. Fascinating, really fascinating.